Hey, Broncos, Denver Broncos, another win in the books, and you're joining the Denver Bronco Roundup. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to kick it off right off the bat, man. This is our post-game show. I am your host, Keith Brugman. I have Albert Mile High Dutchy. I have the Judge, Jody Moncrief. I have maybe more on the way, and we are brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network and sponsored by Willow Seasonings and Blends. Guys, Another win, man. Start stacking them again, man, and a pretty impressive win, especially when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. Mile High Dutchy, how you feeling, and what'd you think about this game? Just initial reaction.
Winning this game is a cherry on top. We had a really good weekend, Michelle and I. We were in the weekend for Branson. And so, to win this game, that's like a cherry on top. It's excellent.
Hey, Albert's enjoying his life away from the Broncos, and then he gets a Broncos win. Can't be better than that. Life is good all the way around in the Knoppers household. Good to
Buffalo
hear it, buddy.
wins.
Good to hear it. Jody, the judge, coming in with some knowledge right as we go on the air. Jody, why don't you just tell us what happened and then tell us what you think about this Broncos game?
Buffalo beat Kansas City. You're now one game back in the division. That's pretty crazy after starting 1-5. And I think this is Denver's most complete game. That last second, I'm not going to count the knees as the last drive, but that last drive where they took about 6 minutes off the clock and went down to
over
score.
7 minutes.
That was an incredible drive. And that, if you can do that, you are going to win a lot of football games. And like I've been saying, if you get in, you can play defense, you can run the ball, and you still have a quarterback that can mix plays. You're a scary team to whoever you play.
It's fantastic when your quarterback, Russell Wilson, takes Khalil Mack out of the game. He was gassed after that last-ditch effort to try to get Russell Wilson. Spent the rest of it, the time on the sidelines as far as I saw, and Broncos end up wrapping up a win. It was absolutely phenomenal. Kind of like one of our other guys that is part of the Denver Bronco Roundup, coming in with a different format, a different corner in the Denver Bronco Roundup layout, I guess you could say. Trevor Salzman joining the show. Trevor, we're just talking initial reaction as we just saw this game wrap up. What is your thoughts? And then we'll hit the comments, guys. We'll start going around and diving really into this game. But Trevor, first initial reaction.
Yeah, I just think that what a great game for the Broncos all the way around. I think just a lot of credit to the defense, just because how well they play. I think Vance Joseph, man, it seems like every week he's stepping up, and his defenses in general. I think he's a guy that I really could see getting serious head coaching inquiries from other teams around the league. It's just something I can see because how well this defense is playing and really shut down the Chargers. Even when Herbert was in the game, they were shut down. I think Broncos offense in general, they got better throughout the game. Can't be satisfied, but I think a win's a win. You got better. You seen Jerry Jeudy first half were just horrible. He was just bad. He was just bad. But I just think the offense wasn't clicking in the first half, and they made an adjustment. And we got 2 touchdowns in the second half, and they really came through and just a great win. On the road, and it really didn't seem like a road game though. How much the Broncos country really showed up. It kind of seemed like that we were actually playing at home. So that was great to see. And just really proud of the Broncos, and just great team win overall. Continuing to get better going into this short week.
Awesome. My initial reaction, fantastic. Okay. We need to make sure this, we have enough time to get through everything on the show. So
I'd like to piggyback off of
just 1 second. I want to hit the
yeah, go ahead.
comments just really quick, and I'll let you piggyback off. Kenny's coming in. Our good friend Kenny Kirkpatrick over at the K&K Sports Show. He's just coming in saying the fearsome foursome. Let's go. I'll stop by and congratulate everyone in a few minutes. Well, you're doing it right now, bud, and we appreciate it, but we might be able to get Kenny on the show as well. Rogers coming in and said, what a great defensive win. Offense needs to definitely improve. Our good friend Michael Ronquillo's coming in saying, good evening, Keith, Jody, Albert. Trevor wasn't here right at the moment, so I'm sure he's included, but big blue and orange stars, and guess what? Clapping it up, man. I like to see that, Michael Ronquillo, man. He knows what it's all about. I love it. So, and our good friend Jeremy saying, sup, fellas, go Broncos. Jody, you wanted to curtail off of something that was just said. Take the mic. Go for it, buddy.
I know a lot of people that are still on the fence on the Broncos are going to say, well, Herbert didn't play the second half, and that's the only reason you won this game. Yeah. But Denver, and I don't remember exactly what the stat was, Herbert is like the most pressured quarterback, but gives up the least amount of sacks. Denver was getting home, getting sacks. They intercepted Herbert. Herbert was not looking good, and that had nothing to do with why Denver won this game.
Some may say the Chargers look better under Easton Stick than they did under Justin Herbert, quite honestly.
Very overrated. I will say that.
I know you've been beating that drum for a long time, Jody. I've been kind of more of a Justin Herbert fan. I actually was disappointed when he stuck around another year, went back to college, kind of maybe eluded the Broncos and their ability to maybe pick him up. But boy, what we saw today, man, I'm liking what Russell Wilson put on the field, and I'm liking what Kurt Valente brings in here. He's saying, what's up, boys? Let's go. Bringing that clap. That's the guy who has the clap going. He's the other side of the K&K Sports Show. He's Mr. Kurt Valente. And guys, I talked about it a couple times, but they are our podcast cousins. They're on the East Coast. They cover all sports, baseball, football, and basketball. Sorry. All of a sudden I blanked. Football, baseball, basketball. They cover it from coast to coast, guys, and they do it with an East Coast flair. But Kurt has his own Broncos show Wednesday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Check it out. Just like we should check out Ernie Mays coming in here and saying, hello, man, I told you so. Broncos country only. Ernie's been riding the wave, man. He's been talking about big things and big records, if I remember correctly, Ernie. But he's hot on them, and I love it. Let's go, boy. Let's go get this division now, boys, said Kurt Valente. Trevor, you missed it right before you got on. It was Jody that was talking about the Bills winning, and of course now we're just one game back in the division as the Chiefs have fallen to 8-5, and we're sitting at 7-6. Man, you guys are blowing up my chat board. So give me just a second, guys, and I promise I'll get back to the guys who are on the screen as well. Kurt's saying, Peyton, Russ, this run game and this defense, here we come. Kenny's coming in saying, I agree. I applaud the statement on Herbert, Jody. He is not deserving of being one of the highest paid QBs, and not even close. Jeremy's coming in and saying that was the Broncos' first win in SoFi. So take that, man. Mark that another notch in the bedpost. I don't know what we're doing really notching in the bedpost these days, but that's okay. Michael Ronquillo saying, evening, Trevor, and a big blue and orange heart for you as well. David's coming in and saying, I would have thought that we were at home field because of all the orange and the noise. And the noise, man. They were bringing it, and I love it. Michael Ronquillo with the big claps, and that's going to wrap us up for getting caught up on comments. Albert, we were a little bit disappointed in our defense last week as we went up against Houston. Didn't look like the defense that was carrying this team, it seemed, as we went through that first 5-0 stretch, man. But they came back, and they came back strong. What was the key to this defense performing at the level they did outside of just getting rid of Justin Herbert?
I would say communication. This was all in the communication. You could see them talking in the backfield. They were organizing themselves, and I think that was the biggest key, organization. And, of course, pressuring the quarterback. That was huge today.
Yes. I agree. On that line of communication, I did like when Josie Jewell came up with a big sack and he came out with his guns ablazing. All of a sudden, you saw Zach come up there and grab his hands. He's like, "No, dude, we're not getting penalties for stuff like that today." So that was pretty awesome, man. Let's head it down to Trevor, man. What was your thoughts, man, about this defense? How they were able to rebound and become that defense we were used to seeing for that 5-game stretch?
Yeah, I just think just putting pressure on Herbert, kind of talked about it pregame. They had to put pressure on Herbert. Can't, let him sit back in the pocket and just do his thing. So that was pretty clear on in the game, and Joseph really stuck to that. Turnovers as well. They were able to get a couple turnovers. That first touchdown was a turnover. Broncos defense. The offense wasn't really going, because you kind of make that argument that the defense kind of got the Broncos offense going with that turnover right there. Put them inside the 10-yard line. So, right there, that just kind of got the ball rolling a little bit, in my opinion. But, just I think just getting after Herbert and just great coverage on the field. Keenan Allen, wasn't a very, very important part of this offense today for the Chargers. So, it's really just stopping him and just, I think Herbert being out of the game impacted a little bit, but not much. You can't take away what this defense has done. It's just been very, very impressive, and a lot of credit to Vance Joseph. I think this taken away from this win, I think it's not just about the offense. I think it's mainly about the defense, just what they've been able to do and put together, just all the way around as a unit. They've just been playing. It's not necessarily one guy that's just standing out more than one other. It's just playing together as a team, and it's just great to see, and it's something that we're starting to take advantage of, and the offense is starting to take advantage of as well with these turnovers. It's just all-around great defense from everybody.
Absolutely. Jody, Nick Benito goes out. Baron Browning basically filled his spot on, as he ended up coming in, getting a heavier rotation as far as what I saw out there. But, man, this defense did not skip a beat. Talk about, again, this defense, how they were able to bring it back, but also, how big of impact Nick Benito can have, how big of an influence he's been so far this year. And, hopefully he's coming back. We don't see anything long-term. But if he isn't back next week, is that an issue for this defense? Go ahead and hit it, Jody.
Yeah, I think it's an issue. I don't think it's a huge issue, but it is an issue for rotational guys. You're gonna have 2 guys that don't dress, either Incune or I can't think of the other guy's name that they're gonna have to come up. Perkins, one of the two. He's been a key piece of this defense, but we've seen today they played pretty well without him in there. The biggest thing I think for this defense is everyone's stayed healthy. They have stayed pretty healthy, and it's incredible to turn around after the Miami game, giving up 70 points to now you've given up this second least amount of points since that game.
I agree, man. I think I've really loved what Nick Benito has been able to do, what he's brought to this defense, and the way he's stepped up this year. A lot of people were calling him out, saying he was going to be a weak point. He's been anything but that. He's really stepped up and solidified that edge, and he can bring the rush at times as well. So, I hope Nick Benito comes back. But, yeah, I was once again impressed how this defense was able to step up. A couple other notes. Jonathan Cooper did go down but came back. We also had McMillan that went out and then came back as well. So hopefully both those guys, I know they got nicked up in games. Sometimes those nicks end up being a little bit more painful as the game ends and the week begins. So hopefully they come back strong and are able to put in a full week of practice and get ready for the next game. Another one that I guess you could say almost an injury, and we'll go ahead and we'll start flipping over to the offense. Kenny was just agreeing with Kurt and saying, I agree with Kurt on the run the ball, play defense, and get a couple of huge balls from Russ. Got Michael Ronquillo coming in saying tight end Adam Troutman was wide open for his touchdown catch. Yes, that was a beautiful play.
Great play call too, yeah.
Yeah, thoughts on wide receiver Jerry Jeudy in this game, and that's where I want to start getting to. And at this point, what do you guys think of VJ? Maybe we'll wrap up that last one. I'm going to start with this one. What do you guys think of VJ? I got a little bit of information, obviously, from Trevor already saying I think it was Trevor saying we got to watch out about him being a possible head coaching candidate next year? All right. So I'm going to give, so we can continue on this conversation and start getting over to the offensive side of the ball. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get Albert and Jody's thoughts on VJ, the way he's turned this around, and do you think he's going to be a head coaching candidate come the end of the year? I'll start with Albert.
There might be a shot for him, but I don't think he has a head coaching ability. We have seen it with the Broncos. He gets way over his head. We have seen that before, and I think that will happen again if he becomes a head coach. He cannot manage it all. If he just has one task, what he has to think of the defense, he is doing it. Yeah, I have to eat crow because in the beginning I wanted him to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I give him kudos for what he has done with this defense. But head coaching material, I don't think yet. I think he needs a couple more years.
Albert, I like that, man. Don't worry about that crow. It's huge. And a lot of people have been having to be eating that crow as far as getting rid of Vance Joseph after especially after the Miami game and the start that we had, So that crow is huge. A lot of people have taken a bite out of it. I guarantee it. That being said, I like what you're saying there. He might have opportunities. Whether he should take them or not might be another question, because there might be that opportunity for him out there for a team looking to bring somebody in, and Vance Joseph could be that guy. That's Albert's thoughts. Jody, what are your thoughts on Vance Joseph? Does he get an opportunity after this year? And as Albert put, is he ready for an opportunity next year?
I think he might get some looks, but I think he's smart enough to know that not to just jump right away. You don't want to go to a team like a Panthers that are in turmoil or something like that. It's going to be a bad team. Peyton, the situation here was a lot different when he came here. This team had a Super Bowl winning quarterback, had pieces. There are a lot of teams looking for a head coach don't have that, and I don't know that he has what it takes to turn a team around like that. But he has turned this defense around, and I have to eat crow as well because I was on the bandwagon fire him after 70-point game.
Man, that crow is huge. I'm telling you, that crow is huge. Go ahead, buddy.
The best thing about him is he stays aggressive the whole game. We don't sit back and get in, prevent. We're aggressive. We blitz. We trust our back end, and it's really great to see.
It was impressive to see him bringing it to the very, very end of the game. If it wouldn't have been for the last play, they wouldn't have been in the position they were. And, man, he just kept bringing it till the final whistle, man. Fantastic to see. Go ahead, bud.
Before I'm going to extend what I was talking about with VJ, as far as head coaching candidate. When VJ, to be fair, when VJ got the job in Denver, John Elway picked a lot of his coordinators. So I don't think VJ ever got full control of who he could bring in and whatnot. So I think it's a little unfair to scrutinize him for what his coordinators were and what he was in Denver. I think teams aren't going to necessarily have him as their first candidate on their list because in the NFL anymore, teams want coordinators that are offensive minded. So I don't think VJ is going to be number one on anybody's list, but I do think that he's respected around the league, and I do think that a lot of players respect him, and I think that he will get another opportunity. He already has had interviews in the past. So this year's only going to influence that even more, just with the production on the field. So I think that he's going to end up getting a head coaching job eventually. I'm not sure it's this off season. I wouldn't say that, but I think if he has another great year as far as what his defense is playing like, I think you can absolutely see him getting another head coaching job, and hopefully he gets a head coaching job that's the right situation for him because he doesn't not need another situation where owners or general managers picking his coaches like he was the first time around he was here in Denver. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think that I do think that he does have a shot at least getting interviews this year.
Very good, man. Ernie Mays coming in and just reiterating my point, saying 31 teams, announcers eating that crow. Young Tyrone coming in here as well, coming in with his answers. He says, I think VJ would stay in Denver. At least for one more year, I'm sure is exactly what he's talking about. Thanks, young Tyrone, for jumping in. First time I've seen you in here tonight. One question I'd have for you, and I think we've maybe asked this before, and I'm gonna give you the option. So it's an A or B option. Give me your answer. You're keeping Christian Parker or you're keeping Vance Joseph. Mile High Dutchie, which way are you going?
VJ
for him. Jody.
VJ, I'll go VJ.
Go VJ. That was a little hesitation, but VJ is the way he goes. Trevor?
I'd probably say VJ just because of his experience and with Christian Parker taking a big risk, I think, of him because he's never been in DC before. So he's never really called plays. I mean, he's been a part of a lot of great, defensive minds, though. So that's tough, but I still say VJ, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
I expect both of them back in Denver next year, though.
Ooh, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough, man. I think that Christian
Especially
Parker
if you get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
I
you
hope they do, man.
Win a game, and then you lose, say, the next round or the title game close.
Yep.
That close to getting there. I think they'll want to run it back for sure.
I love that, man. I love that thought. I hope that that's the exact type of mentality that Sean Payton is bringing this different culture, this different mindset to the Denver Broncos organization. Certainly the Paulton Penner group and what they've invested and what they think they want to do with this team. It's fantastic. And hopefully that brings, guys, if we end up coming up short, which, odds are, we don't win the Super Bowl. It's been a fantastic run, but we've got a long stretch in front of us, and there's a few other teams that may be favored. That being said, man, if we come up a little bit short, as Jody said, how fantastic would it be to get VJ and Christian Parker back
But to be honest,
for one more year?
If you get in the playoffs, you do three things that can win: run the football, play defense, and you have a quarterback that can make plays for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to go ahead and I want to start flipping over to the offensive side of the ball. I will give Graham a shout out, just like he's giving us a shout out here, coming in the comments over on YouTube saying, McMillan, I am telling you, woo. And that's probably like I think Albert could do it, man.
Woo!
There you go, man. Appreciate it, man. Right on key, man. That was fantastic. Mike's dialed in tonight, man. But yeah, Jaquan McMillan, just a fantastic. I've said it before. I'll say it again. A guy I need to eat a little crow on because I didn't think he'd be able to play up to a full NFL level, and he's proving me wrong week in and week out, especially in the midst of this season. So, like I said, want to get over to the offensive side of the ball. I threw it up on the screen a little bit earlier. Might as well make it the hot topic question right off the bat. Start around the corner. Start up with Albert. Michael Ronquillo wants to know thoughts on wide receiver Jerry Jeudy this game. And I'm just going to leave it that wide open.
So if Jeudy makes those two catches, you have a 34-0 game because it is a complete different offense that you get. They're dialed in. There's a different energy. And now you have two drop passes that were catchable passes. And he let them drop through the basket, pretty much. If those two are catches, you win 34-7 or 10 or something like that, because it's a complete different offense. You get more motivated. You have more reliability. You have more trust in each other. And now it changes up because you cannot trust him. You cannot rely on him. And I think that was the game changer. Those two drop balls for Jeudy, I think that changed the offense a little bit.
Not only a fantastic take, Albert, but a fantastic outfit. I forgot to point that out, man. You're looking spot on this evening for anybody that's he has Christmased out, ready to go for the season. But absolutely, I think both of those, a lot of those targets to Jeudy, you end up converting those targets. You end up hauling in those passes, and how big of a difference does that end up making? You end up, twinkling in the offense. You're shining bright, much like Albert's sweater there. But no, I mean that offense completely opens up. All of a sudden, the run game opens up a little bit more because those deep passes. The other receivers opened up because Jeudy's all of a sudden a target and a threat. That's how Albert sees it. Jody, what are your thoughts on, as Michael Ronquillo says, thoughts on wide receiver Jerry Jeudy this game?
Horrible, especially after the antics last week, throwing your arms up, throw me the ball. And Wilson 2 times. The first one, it probably was not the best of throws, but it was there. It went right through his hands. He's got to catch that ball. The next one, he jumped, high pointed it, and it right off his shoulder pads, dropped it. And the worst of all, I thought, was the touchdown pass. You've got to know how to drag your feet and get 2 feet in bounds. Cortland Sutton makes that catch and drags his feet all day long. That's a perfect throw by Russ, and that could cost you a game down the stretch. And then to go out and just celebrate like you caught a touchdown, you've got to make that. That was a perfect play call and a perfect throw, and you've got to make that catch.
So not a whole lot of love going around the corner so far for Jerry Jeudy. Graham's coming in and saying as a wide receiver, you have to be aware of your feet. No reason Jerry Jeudy should have had his feet out of bounds on that TD. His thought on that particular play, but your thoughts on Jerry Jeudy, as Michael Ronquillo asked Trevor, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that first ball, downfield when Judy's wide open, I think Russ, I don't think that was the most perfect throw because it was leading him out of bounds. But nevertheless, Judy needs to come down with that probably. I think he's got enough room where he still can make that catch. So I just think the connection right there, that's the true connection of Jerry Jeudy and Russell Wilson. It just puts that all in one play right there where they just weren't connecting. That's the ball that should have been caught and it should have been thrown better, and it just wasn't. And so that's just their connection. And it's just Jerry Jeudy, there's no excuses for him because this is 4 years now that he's been in the NFL. He's not a rookie. So dragging the feet in the end zone, I agree with Jody, that is huge. You have to do that. And then he just celebrates like he got a touchdown. You're not aware of where you're at on the field, Jerry. I mean, come on, act like a veteran. You're not a rookie. I mean, at some point in time, he's going to have to step up. I mean, we've seen it from Sutton, and he's made another great play today. But
that's what makes it worse.
Yeah. But
Sutton's getting mauled in the end zone and catches the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Man. It just makes you wonder, though, where Tim Patrick would have been in this offense. That's what I think. To Tim Patrick, you can make the case he's your wide receiver too, right there. So then that takes the pressure off Cortland Sutton from getting double teamed. But right now, you don't have that. You don't have that in a tight end. You don't have that in a receiver right now. Marvin Mims, that ball today. I mean, when that first play of the game. That's not on Russ. That's on Marvin Mims. He didn't even haul it in. I mean, you have to haul it in. And you have to secure that. That's not on Russ. So I'm just a lot of question marks to this Broncos wide receiver room, and just makes you going forward in the offseason. They're gonna have to address it if this continues to be an issue. And Jerry Jeudy, should you have moved him for a 3rd round pick? Right now, it kind of seems like you probably should have.
Man, Trevor fired up on the wide receiver room. Man,
no excuses.
Man, we need the ice bucket challenge coming around again because Trevor's all fired up on this one. Young Tyrone giving a little bit of props to Albert coming in saying, nice, awesome sweater, man. So I love that sweater, but got to give props to it. Appreciate it. I'm hitting the comments, guys, just really quick. I threw this up already. Jerry Jeudy with a down arrow. Graham's coming in saying Hinton might have been more productive than Jeudy. Michelle's coming in and just saying evening, gents, as well. My thoughts on Jerry Jeudy for this, for one, that one in the end zone, that's one that you have to come down with. Every single NFL wide receiver knows you need to get 2 feet down. It didn't seem like he made an attempt. It looked like he was still playing in Alabama when he came in with that touchdown. The one that was, deep from Russ made him, turn his hips, go out of bounds. I mean, if you're a 1st-round draft pick, maybe you come up with that catch. Oh, wait. Jerry Jeudy is a 1st-round draft pick, guys. Didn't mean to throw shade quite like that, but I had to. Guys, it's just one of the things that you'd really like to see. He's a 1st-round pick. He was a top pick. We went out of our way to go get this guy, and unfortunately what we're getting from him is nowhere near that production. So, it was honestly, I'll be honest, I put that a little bit more on Russ, the way he made him turn, flip his hips, run for a dead run towards the sideline, and have to try to come in with that ball. That was a difficult one as I watched that game. But I'll be honest, once he didn't get his feet in on that touchdown, I started almost reviewing it in my mind. It's like, what do we have to expect from Jerry Jeudy? We have to expect something. And we picked him pretty dang high, so we should expect something pretty dang big. And to this point, I haven't seen anything pretty dang big coming out of Jerry Jeudy. So Another comment coming in, Michael Ronquillo coming in saying wide receiver Tim Patrick was rocking the late, great Broncos wide receivers Demaryius Thomas Broncos jersey during the pregame. Gotta love that. That was, as we all know, it's the anniversary of his passing yesterday. Rest in peace, Demaryius Thomas, man. You know, I want to shift gears here real quick on this. I was thinking about this at the very beginning of the year. Both Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton were under fire about are they earning up to their contract? My goodness, gentlemen. One guy has proven maybe he is, and one guy has proven maybe he isn't. I want to talk to the guy who has proven that maybe he is earning every single penny. And they mentioned it even in the comments a little bit earlier as well. Courtland Sutton with that catch. I'm going to go around the horn, talk about Courtland Sutton, talk about the catch, talk about what he's been able to do in order to make this offense, especially in the passing game, productive. And again, I'm going to start off with Albert. I'll throw Michelle Knopper's Evening Gentleman back up there and give her a little more kudos because that's the wife and hubby right there. Give him a little more love. So Albert, take it away, sir.
So here's the thing. What needs to happen is Courtland Sutton just needs to take one of his arms, give it to Jeudy, because Courtland Sutton has proven he can catch the balls with just one hand. He did it twice today in the game. One was on the outside, when he was in the sideline, and the other one was with the touchdown. So, and then maybe Jeudy can secure the balls then, catch the balls with free hands. 2 around the ball and 1 underneath the ball. That should be the perfect solution because Courtland has proven that he can do it. He has now 11 touchdowns, 10 or 11. And so I think he's still the leader in touchdowns in the red zone. So, yeah, Courtland has proven that he is his money worth right now. And let's hope that he can keep it up.
Yeah, Courtland Sutton has been absolutely amazing, and a guy that's been even more amazing as I kind of forgot that he was. Oh, never mind. I was about ready to bring in a special guest, but I'm going to go ahead instead. I'm going to bring over Jody Moncrief and bring his thoughts in on Courtland Sutton and his productivity and his effect on this offense thus far for Russell Wilson.
Oh, it's been incredible. Russ loves to throw the moon balls and throw deep, and he can trust Sutton 100% that he's going to go up and make catches. Right at 700 yards right now, 10 touchdowns. Last week was really the only game that I've seen him drop passes really all year. He's just been incredible for the kind of 2-year hiatus since the injury. 3 years probably since his injury. He had that good second year, and then after the injury it was not really all that great, and this year was a total resurgence.
It's been amazing, like I said, amazing to me what he's been able to do, the way he's brought it to this field, and quite honestly, just his resilience, kind of like, and I alluded to it before, the resilience of another individual. I dang near forgot about him backstage, but he stuck with me, and I appreciate it because, my goodness, we adopted him, and we're treating him like the redheaded stepchild, I guess is the term. Poor Kenny Kirkpatrick, the stepfather, coming in. Here's a guy who knows a few things about wide receivers. He's a big Giants fan, seen a few good ones throughout his lifetime. We're talking a little bit about Courtland Sutton, what he's brought to the Denver Broncos, how he's opened it up. But first off, welcome, Kenny, and welcome to the Denver Broncos. Thanks, Denver Bronco Roundup. Thanks for having a little patience.
The fearsome foursome, nicknamed them today, the fearsome foursome on our Giants show. Love you guys. Thank you for having me, as always. Love it. Come here for a few minutes. Congratulations on the win. Real quick on Courtland Sutton, and then if I can just have 10 seconds on Jerry Jeudy. Courtland Sutton has been the absolute number one wide receiver a playoff team needs. 10 touchdowns earlier said by Tyrone. Demaryius Thomas numbers, bringing back memories of Demaryius Thomas for you all. And Trevor nailed it last week. We said that the Texans were going to try and stop Sutton. Well, the Chargers tried today too, and they almost succeeded. But that one deep throw, and Sutton made that play, and that's all you need. You need one big play from your receiver, one big play from your quarterback, and you should win games. So real quick on Jerry Jeudy, I wouldn't give up on him yet. I think it's a mental thing. I think it's starting to become a mental thing in his head. I don't want to drop the ball. Caught the ball, forget to put your feet in. I've seen it in the past. I'm a Yankees fan. Chuck Knobloch, an all-star that came from the Twins. A second baseman couldn't throw the ball to first base. And this was an all-star defensive player, just forgot how to throw the ball to first base, a Major League Baseball player. Get him right, throw him some short routes. He's getting open, so he knows how to do that. So just get him on the same page. Get those, make him make some plays, get his confidence back, and I think you'll be okay going forward with Jerry Jeudy.
Young Tyrone just pointing out last year was a pretty good year last year. I remember him being tied right at the top with over 900 yards receiving. We obviously haven't seen that same production. We have Michael Ronquillo saying it's time to move on from wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. But we haven't gotten one guy's thoughts on this, and that's Trevor. Trevor, what are your thoughts on Courtland Sutton, his performance? And maybe we're heading back to a little bit more of that Jerry Jeudy talk as well, if you want to hit that one last time.
Yeah, so on Jerry Jeudy, the reason I think he's under fire is because he's got one more year left on his deal after this season. So the Broncos are going to have to figure out if he's part of the future plan or not. Either you're going to pay him or you're going to have to move on from him. There's that's the two options they have. If he was in like year 2, year 3, where he had more years of control underneath him, then we wouldn't be talking. I don't think there'd be as much pressure on Jerry Jeudy to succeed. But quickly on Courtland Sutton, he's tied with Mike Evans with 10 touchdowns this season. That's Tyreek Hill is the only one in the NFL that has more touchdowns than Courtland Sutton with 12. You are paying Courtland Sutton $18 million this year.
Yeah,
he's a Pro Bowl receiver. I mean, he's right there. I would definitely be marking him down for Pro Bowl this year. I mean, he's just been fantastic. And again, Russ is trusting Courtland Sutton for a reason, and Sean Payton as well. These guys are putting him in places to succeed, and defenses are going to continue to really nail down on Courtland Sutton though going forward. I mean, we can't expect Courtland Sutton to carry this wide receiver room like he has been. Some point in time, somebody's got to step up, and I think that will carry on. I think we'll see that carry on this season. If someone steps up in the wide receiver room, then I think we'll see the Broncos succeed. If not, I don't know where this team goes because you don't have anybody else that is stepping up. So if that's Jerry Jeudy, Marvin Mims, somebody else has got to step up, especially in the passing game. We're talking about improving the passing game. Well, how are you going to improve the passing game if no one's stepping up other than Sutton? So it'll be interesting to see what going forward. But I definitely love Courtland Sutton right now, and hopefully Jerry Jeudy can figure it out.
What I think's incredible is when you throw how you can throw to Pirine so much, and he gets you like 8, 9, 10 yards every time. It's almost a given, like a first down, and it's just a little dump play.
Yeah,
it's wild that teams can't stop that.
Yeah, the production of the dump off has been fantastic. It's something that they've utilized a ton. Jeremy Dressler came in with the same thought process really early, saying Pirine, 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 Pirine. I did want to get to another comment just down the chat now that I've scrolled all the way to the top. So that being said, where was I? It was Martin. Because Martin came in here and he was in agreement. He said, I agree we should have traded Jeudy, but at the time, I was glad we kept him. I hope I'm wrong. We're paying him, so we will find out. Got Patrick Wiltsey coming in here and saying, aloha, boys. Well, aloha, Patrick. We're right in the middle of the show, or I guess more towards the end, so I don't know if that's hello or goodbye. Either way, hello to you. He said, my daughter likes Mr. Brugman's beard game. Oh, very strong, she says. Well, I appreciate it very much. Making me blush now. How does she like the blush game? Appreciate it. Some of these I don't read before I get on the air, so sometimes I get in trouble. Courtland healthy. Michael Ronquillo, I'm sorry, is coming in saying Courtland Sutton is healthier than the previous years, and this whole team is looking fantastic. I wanted to get to this as well, and good evening. Kenny came in from Graham as well as
hey Graham and Michael. Always great to see you guys.
I want to, absolutely, Graham, Michael, and Kenny. Always great to see all these guys. We love them all on our show. I wanted to get to this we saw a little bit of production again from this individual, and we saw a little bit more production maybe out of this position as Kroll came up with a pretty big reception in this game, a really big reception in this game. And Graham's coming in here on YouTube saying we also need to give some love to Adam Troutman. That's the guy who I was speaking of that came up with yet again another big play, yet again another touchdown in consecutive games. I'm going to start off with Kenny. He's our guest, and ask him, Kenny, your thoughts. Does Adam Troutman have the ability to take over for the role we've been missing since Dulcich has been out and we haven't really had a wide receiving or pass catching type of tight end?
I don't know if I'm there yet, but I will tell you somebody I'm getting high on is Kroll.
Yeah.
Last week, Wilson went to him on that interception in the end zone. And then this week he got himself wide open. So get him in there for like 10 plays and design a few plays for him a game. Kroll could be the guy going forward. I like what I'm seeing out of Troutman. He's making some big plays when needed, but Kroll is somebody to watch out for. Not sure. Was he an undrafted free agent? I'm not sure of his status.
Yep.
Is he a rookie? Undrafted? Yeah. That's a good story.
Yeah.
I could see him being a little threat going forward. I think Peyton's going to gain some confidence in him. So that would be the guy, Keith, for me.
All right, man. Going a different direction. I appreciate that, Kenny. I'm going to zigzag up and down the board, so I'm going to go hit Albert next. Then we'll head over down to Trevor.
Yeah, it is needed. And this is something that Sean Payton is high on, playing to the tight ends. And so if we get them more involved, great. And Adam Troutman, he did a good job. He was better in blocking this week as well, from what I saw. So, all in all, I think all the tight ends today were pretty decent to good.
Very good, man. So a good team effort. Can we get production out of that out of that tight end position as a receiver, like a lot of teams do, with an Adam Troutman, with an Adam Kroll, though? I don't think that's his first name, though. I'm sorry. I think I just said Adam Kroll, and I don't know his first name. Lucas Kroll. Sorry, thank you.
I do believe so. If your run game and your wide receivers are getting good offensive roles, then your tight ends will come in naturally, because the defense will start focusing on other areas than the tight ends. So you will get off it. Just like with Pirine. When does he get those big plays? In the fourth quarter. That's where the defenses have been run down a little bit, and now you have gaps to open up. That's what happened with Adam Troutman too. The defense are run down. Guess what? Now you create plays, and that is how it should be.
Creating plays, scheduling them up after you're starting to get through that game. Something that maybe Sean Payton did pretty well today. We're talking about tight ends, so zigzagging back down to Mr. Trevor Salzman. What are your thoughts on this position, buddy?
Yeah, I think that you're still missing something there. But with Kroll, I think you're definitely I think you're seeing Rusk have more confidence with him downfield. Pretty big plays that he made past 2 weeks, I would say. That he didn't make. He didn't get the opportunity against in Houston, but today I think he rebounded well. Kroll was actually with Sean Payton in 2022, so that's a little bit of a background.
Yeah.
He was undrafted free agent with the Saints, so he's got ties with Sean Payton. So I'm sure Sean Payton knows how to use this guy, or else he wouldn't bring him in. So I think that's a guy that if you don't have Dulcich, he's probably your vertical threat tight end that you have. So I could definitely see him getting involved in the offense. Troutman, I mean, he's good, downfield some at times, but he's not a guy that I would definitely, really kind of harp on and be like, oh, that's my vertical threat tight end. I don't think teams are gonna cover him like that. But I think he's a great blocking tight end, and when you need him, at times he can make good catches. But I don't think he's a guy that you necessarily want to rely on as a vertical threat tight end. I think going forward, that's probably Dulcich and then Kroll. I think if you can get those two kind of combination, I think that might be dangerous going into the playoffs.
Not only a touchdown, but picked up a big play. If you guys remember going down the stretch, as he was, Russ flipped it out to the side. He made a guy miss and turned it upfield, ended up getting the first down. Again, I'm going to ask, heading up to the judge himself, Mr. Jody Moncrief, is Adam Troutman that guy that's going to be able to take the place? Is it Lucas Kroll? Is it just not possible to necessarily fill that role this year? What is your consensus, Judge?
I don't think that they really can fill the role, but they're doing what they're being asked to do, which is mainly block and once in a while, get open. The good thing is I've heard reports Greg Dulcich might be coming back this week, so he's been practicing on the side the last 2 weeks. So I would expect him this week or next week, and that's a big boost going in. That's your wild card going into the play if you make the playoffs.
Very good, man. Graham's coming in here with some news, man, and I was really hoping that when I first heard there was an illness when it came to Quinn Miners, that it was going to be a stomach bug or something to that effect. But unfortunately, he's coming in here and saying, update on Miners, irregular heartbeat, went to the hospital, precautionary, but he's doing good. Also saying staying in the hospital overnight, though, in L.A. So, wow. Not what you wanted to hear. It's the reason that we saw Wattenberg come in and he ended up playing, and honestly playing quite well as we continued to run the ball down the stretch. Kurt Valente is coming in here. Again, I'm a little late on these comments because you guys have been blowing it up. Give a little shout out to his other side of the K&K Sports Show, Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick. He's saying Kurt Valente coming in saying, there he is, run the ball, play defense. We have our franchise QB, make big plays in big spots, and Sean Payton, let's go. Big clap it up, of course,
He's
for
right.
Kurt Valente.
Can't disagree.
That's not a, you got to all have your own recipe, Not everyone can be the same thing. We can't be the Miami Dolphins. Just isn't going to happen, Not everyone can be every single recipe. Some may be a souffle, and some may be a meat pie. Who knows? That being said, we got Patrick Wilsey coming in here and saying Dutchie's mustache rules all, though. Overall, better play. Enjoyed the consistent defensive pressure. And yes, that was definitely bringing it on. Young Tyrone always bringing it, since I think the Broncos could move on from Kareem Jackson, because P.J. Locke is doing a great job. Let's talk about that just a little bit, man. P.J. Locke all over the field once again. I'll start again. I'll hit a couple of guys. Let's hit the guys on the bottom side of the board, and we'll get a different topic for the guys at the top. So, Kenny, your thoughts on P.J. Locke and his performance and what his maybe ability to step up and make Kareem Jackson expendable this offseason.
Oh, 100% agree with Tyrone. From what I've seen of P.J. Locke, watching the games, I'm on the East Coast, so sometimes I don't get them, but watching most of the games that he's been in, he's been, if not the best, 1 or 1A best player on the defense all around, in my opinion. So, you got Surtain, your lockdown corner. He's always going to be my number one. I've been on him. He's been my guy, lockdown corner. But you got PJ Locke now in the secondary. That's another nice, side dish to the main course. So definitely would move on from Kareem Jackson, in my opinion, from an outside perspective.
All right, over to Trevor, man. Your thoughts. P.J. Locke, has he made Kareem Jackson completely expendable? And I'll even step it up. Kareem Jackson obviously will have the eligibility to be coming back after a 4-game suspension. Are you going to go ahead and supplant P.J. Locke with Kareem Jackson once he's eligible?
Yeah, I think that, in particular, I think Kareem Jackson I think he brings a great veteran presence to this team in the secondary, but I think going forward, you probably need to stick to your guns and what works. PJ Locke, there's no reason to change that up right now. Him and Justin Simmons in the backfield, along with Surtain and Monroe, those guys all have that chemistry that I don't think you want to mess with right now. They're playing at a high level. I don't think you want to mess that up, especially right now during the season. If it's like mid-season, maybe, but we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We got, let's talk about wins, not players starting. Whoever wants to come in and play, it's not that time right now. So I think you got to roll with PJ Locke. He's playing great. He sets the tone for that defense, in my opinion. His energy, he's ready to make big hits as well, and not get penalized. So that's another great thing. But I think PJ Locke should definitely be a guy that this team locks in. I think for the long haul, I think he's a guy that can him and Simmons got that special chemistry back there, and I think that there's no reason to change that up right now.
Very good. Kenny's getting a lot of love, saying I totally agree with Kenny on Kroll and Troutman, by the way, as well, as Kenny's love continues to flow. I'm going to hit Albert.
After you ask Dutchie and Jody, I'd love to ask a quick rapid-fire, quick-hitter question.
Absolutely, man.
I'll let
100%.
you-
It'll be.
yeah.
We'll be turning it over to Kenny right after this thought from Albert and Jody. I've seen this a couple times brought up in the chat, guys, and I want your thoughts. With Jerry Jeudy struggling and Tim Patrick still a Denver Bronco, do you see the opportunity for possibly Jerry Jeudy being moved on from next year and Tim Patrick taking that spot? Albert, what are your thoughts on that?
I think you have to move on from Tim Patrick. He had he's now been out of the game for 2 years now, and with those injuries, I don't think he will not come back as he was. He might get some nice plays if you play him, but we have seen Cortland Sutton struggle, and that was only with one injury, and Tim Patrick has now 2 big injuries. So I think keep Jeudy, and I don't think Tim Patrick will come back.
And I kind of read these comments a little bit wrong, so I don't want to. I had to backtrack a little bit. So I'm going to bring this over to Jody. Graham's asking if Jerry Jeudy would be better next year if Tim Patrick was alongside him in that locker room, still part of this team. What are your thoughts on that? And then a second one that I want, and I'll go back to Albert on this one as well after I get Jody's thoughts on it. So first part is Jerry Jeudy better if Tim Patrick is back? And second part of it, young Tyrone's coming in and saying if they move on to Jody, who takes his spot, Marvin Mims or Tim Patrick? So, Jody, your thoughts on those real quick.
Marvin Mims for sure. How can anyone know what you're going to get from Tim Patrick after a 2-year layoff?
Yeah.
And with Jeudy, I mean, I don't think what's Tim Patrick going to do? Catch the ball for him? He's dropping balls that are hitting him in the hands. So I don't know what Tim Patrick's going to do any better for him. It's really something that he needs to work on next year, because if Denver does bring him back, he needs to make plays, or next year is his last year in Denver.
Yeah, agreed. Albert, I'll go back over to you. Does Tim Patrick make a difference if he's playing alongside, or is as Jody pointed out, he can't catch the ball for him? Jerry Jeudy's got to do it all himself.
If Tim Patrick comes back as the player he was, it will definitely make a big change. But I don't think that's going to happen, and I think somebody else might get more reps, and that is little Jordan Humphrey. I think he might get more reps. And I think that we might see a change there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly what this offseason brings for the wide receiver room and exactly what all plays out. Might be stuck with a guy or two, just like we are right now, that we may not want, but I think we'll be looking at options. But I wanted to get back to Kenny. He had a rapid-fire question. Kenny, kick it off, buddy.
Yeah, rapid fire. So I'll start with Keith, maybe in like 15 seconds or less if you can answer. It has to do with the tight ends, Kroll and Troutman. We saw that play where Russ bootlegged that formation and Troutman was wide open. So my rapid fire question to you is pretty much shows maybe that he's opening up the playbook for the tight ends some more. Did you like that play call at that time? And do you think you're going to see more of these maybe trick plays or design plays? Because that was a great design play by Peyton and Lombardi, in my opinion, and it showed because Troutman was wide open. So did you like the play at that time, and are you excited about seeing more of those plays possibly in the future?
What I liked about that play, Kenny, was the fact that I don't think they expected Troutman to be that wide open. I think, quite honestly, the defense completely sold out on that run, and it left both Russell Wilson as well as Adam Troutman open. What I like about that play is I think we need to get Russ moving like that, and I think there's opportunities to get him out on the edge and get him running for touchdowns. It's something that he's done throughout his career, and he's got the legs to do it in order to get 5-6 yards. Take advantage of that. But, yeah, the design play so that you're also drawing that defender, if nothing else, as Adam Troutman. Now, as it was, that guy was just lost in space. He had nowhere to go. So fantastic play design. I like it. I think the tight ends need to continue to be involved, but my initial gut reaction is I like Russell on the bootleg in that RPO on the edge.
Dutchie, your thoughts?
They need to open the book, and we see it coming open in, more and more. And yeah, we haven't seen really designed runs for Russ today. Maybe one that's passed to Troutman. It was an option. He could run it in or take it to Troutman. I think, but we need to see more of that. And it does help if you run. Pass rush is working well. Of the run, the rush is working well. And if you have the deep ball, all a combination of everything, if that works all together, you can do way more.
Awesome. I'll ask Jody, and then I'll round it off with Trevor.
I'll agree with what Keith was saying. I think that getting Russ out on the edge is what you got to do. I think that's a misleading stat when they show all his best passes are from inside the pocket. I think that's really misleading because he's always been a get out on the edge type of quarterback. And that's where he can make plays with both his legs and arm.
Nice. And Trevor?
I think Sean Payton's got to get. I think it just goes to show that Sean Payton needs to get Russ outside the pocket more. I mean, again, we talked about it pregame, and some people laughed at me, but Russ's size. I mean, he's just not. He's not a tall quarterback, so he can't see over these 6'5", 6'7" offensive linemen. You know, he needs to be a guy that gets outside the pocket. That's where he gets his reads off better. When he's inside the pocket and the pocket passing quarterback, he doesn't read the field as good. That's just what it is when I see it. So I think it's definitely something needs to happen. I think the defense right there was really concerned about the Broncos running game, and that's when you see them really commit to the run. And then they sold out, and that's when you see Troutman was way open. And so I just think it's the Broncos running game is just dangerous, and I think the Chargers know that. And plus, Chargers defense just is and they're just a mess.
I mean, that wears on a team more than you think. Of the 3-4 yard. Yeah. Right up the middle, Javonte and Pirine just bruising you. Yeah. And you keep doing that wears you out at the end of and that's why you've seen some big, Javonte busted some big runs out late.
Yeah. It used to be the bread and butter.
I appreciate you let me ask you the question. I love the play call, and I think you're seeing, 600 plays in the playbook? I think you're seeing play 585, so maybe next week you see play 586. This guy's a great offensive mind. Early in the season, new offense, you don't show too many plays. Now, end of the season, you're going to see these plays, and look what happened. The Chargers were caught way off guard. They had no answer for that play. So I think you're going to see more of these plays going down the stretch, and I absolutely love it. Thank you for letting me ask that question.
For a field goal there, just run it.
Absolutely.
Get 7 and let's put this team away. Let's have that killer instinct. Too many times it's like just settle for 3 and rely on our defense. Yeah. We were going to score and put this game away with the offense.
You can definitely see that the Chargers were off guard. I think they thought the Broncos were going to manage the clock a little bit more, and I think that proved the way to that wide open touchdown as well.
100%, man. Great question, Kenny, man. Obviously sparked a ton of conversation out there as well among all of us because I do think we're starting to open up that playbook. I'll be honest. The only thing we're not in that position. We're not a Philadelphia. We're not or a San Francisco or someone like that. We're so far out in front. It's like we want to keep a few things hidden in our playbook in case. We need to pull out a few stops here and there. And I think that was one of those opportunities where we pulled out a stop. And as Jody put the dagger in this win. Made sure that we sealed it away. And really, and honestly, I was glad as we got the turnover late in the game and we didn't end up getting the touchdown that we didn't go out there and try to put up points at the very end because we still need to play these Chargers one more time as well. So don't want to make anybody too mad. I wanted to hit the comments. I did bring this one up from Michael Ronquillo just a moment ago. He said tight end Lucas Kroll used his 3rd NFL game from the practice squad. He'll need to clear waivers first to bring him back to the practice squad. Brings up questions about possibly elevating him up to the 53 in order to try to avoid something like that as well. He also just coming in and saying wide receiver Tim Patrick was having the best NFL season with the Broncos before his back-to-back torn ACL NFL season. So Martin has a quick question, and I think I want to hit this around the board as well. We'll do zigzag as well, but we'll do it backwards. We'll start with Jody on this one. Martin says, I think next year's number 2 wide receiver isn't on our roster. We may have to get him through the draft or through free agency in this offseason. What are your thoughts with Martin's thoughts coming in from YouTube? Jody Moncrief, you're the judge.
If Judy is not back next year, I think they will bring in competition with Mims, and it'll be a battle with Mims and someone else.
Very good, man. All depending upon where Jerry Jeudy falls. If not, Jerry Jeudy is going to be the number 2 just outright, in your opinion?
I think he'll have the edge going into camp, but
okay.
If we continue to see the drop passes and Mims takes a step forward, maybe Tim Patrick does come back and is all world again. I don't know, but I don't think it's a sure thing that our number 2 is on this roster next year currently.
Very good. Bringing up a good point, Martin, and it seems like the judge is agreeing with you. See if Trevor feels the same way.
Yeah, I think it's a very much so a possibility that that's the case, Martin. I think with Jerry Jeudy, again, it's going to be one of the biggest questions this offseason for the Broncos. If he continues to play like this, is do you bring him back or do you just move on from him now? Because again, if you don't think that he's a guy going forward, there's no point to keep him on this roster. You need to move on, just because he's going to be going into the final year of his deal. So I think that that's something we could definitely look at. I don't know if they go the free agency route to do that. I think it's more or less the draft. Maybe with the first round pick. That's definitely something that's in play. Sean Payton's pretty aggressive when he likes to move up for receivers and just for players he really likes. So I wouldn't be surprised. He did it with Mims this last offseason. So I wouldn't be surprised if he moved up to get one of those receivers. But I think that's definitely a possibility. And for Tim Patrick, I don't know that Tim Patrick comes out. He has an opt out in his contract this year. So I think the Broncos, if he doesn't reconstruct his contract, I think they probably cut him. But I think the only way I see Tim Patrick coming back is if he reconstructs his contract. That's the only way I see him coming back.
Yeah, either that or they do cut him, he would be obviously have maybe an opportunity to be on the practice squad, and if he's looking good on the practice squad, maybe get an opportunity to elevate that way. But Albert, your thoughts on whether we have the wide receiver number 2 on this roster for next year, or whether it's going to be outside the building? Well, we'll find this individual.
I have just a counter question. Is he worth the money next year? Or what is he scheduled to get? $13 million? Is that good enough to be a wide receiver too? I don't think so. You're right, not right now.
Very good. Calling out Jerry Jeudy needing to step it up if he wants to be that wide receiver too, if we want to keep him on this roster. If not, maybe we are looking to move along from Mr. Jerry Jeudy and find opportunities elsewhere. What do you think, Kenny?
I might play a slight devil's advocate, but I have to see these final games for Jerry Jeudy. He is getting open. He had that touchdown a couple weeks ago he dropped. He didn't drag the foot today. He missed that deep ball from Russ. He's getting open. He's just got to learn to catch the ball. It's something mentally in his head. He had the problem with Steve Smith a few weeks ago. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what goes on outside of football with these guys. There may be something going on in Jerry Jeudy's, non-football life here. We don't know. I need to see the last few games, but if he doesn't, yes, I am getting somebody in the draft for Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, and I'll give you some names. Rome Odunze from Washington, Michael Penix is number 1 wide receiver, and LSU, Dave Slade speaks very highly of Malik Neighbors, and he's going to be a first-round talent. You asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said you need defense, but you know what? Defense is good. Get your free agent offensive line, draft a wide receiver if Jerry Jeudy doesn't turn this around. But I still think he can because he is getting open, guys. He was open on quite a decent amount of plays today. Just didn't make those plays.
Yeah, opportunities, guys. Opportunities lost. But, honestly, guys, I think we started winding through some of these things and we started getting down, Jerry Jeudy and, opportunities lost and all these different things. Guys, we just came out of a 24-7 divisional win, put it down on the Chargers. Once again, I think, started a winning streak. I think we have opportunity to move forward. Once again, I think we showed a lot of people just how valid the Denver Broncos are, how valid this defense is, and that, you know what, you still can't sleep on this offense, guys. You can't go to sleep because guess what? They go out there and they grind and they grind and they find ways, and that's the way that Russell Wilson is playing quarterback, and that's the way that Russell Wilson is winning with the Denver Broncos. And it may not look like what he did in Seattle, but guess what? It's been getting it done week in and week out. We need to go ahead and we need to celebrate the fact that we just, again, 24-7, guys, 24-7, and that 7 came late in this game. I was really hoping for the shutout, but yeah, absolutely, man. Stepfather's in there clapping it up, man. We should be celebrating this win because what a celebration it is, man. Once again, to put another win in the column. Hey, do we have a winning record? Do we have a winning record? Yeah. Yes, we do, gentlemen. And guess what? We haven't been able to talk about that all too many times, man. So I want everyone, I know that we got down on a little bit on the Jerry Jeudy talk, and everyone can pick apart every single game and every single team. But what a heck of a game. Played fantastically. Honestly, even though, hey, we talked about the Chargers being really tough on third down. We talked about them being really tough in the red zone. It would have been really nice to come out in the third quarter and put up a drive, put it for points. But regardless of us stubbing our toe in situations like that, this team grinds it out and gets the win. I'm just happy for it, man. Albert, talk about being happy about this win and why we should be happy about this win one more time before we get out of here, man.
Why should we be happy? Really simple. We are one game closer to the Chiefs. And here's the thing: last week's game, the loss against the Texans, has a big impact. But yeah, we're right in for the AFC West now. And who would have thought that at the beginning of the year that we could have a shot on the AFC West win? Mm-hmm. Nobody.
Yeah.
And so that's why this game is it's a double win. The Chiefs lost, the Broncos won, Chargers lost. Oh yeah, that is normal if one side wins and the other one has to lose. So we are right back in to where we need, and we already have more wins now than last year over 17 games.
There you go, buddy.
That the biggest thing.
Martin was coming in and just agreeing with you. I just wanted to point that out. He says not only today was a great bounce back win, but with the Chiefs lost, we're right in it for the division championship. Jody, man, we're excited about this win, right, man? What does this mean? And, man, get excited for Broncos country out there, Jody.
I think this was the most complete win of the season. From defense pressuring Herbert all game long to that last drive. I thought that last drive was probably the best drive of the whole season. You went down, you ate 7 minutes off the clock, and you scored a touchdown. You didn't settle for 3. You didn't just say, we'll go hand the ball off 3 times, rely on our D. You went down there and scored a touchdown and put this game away. And next week is going to be an incredible game. Saturday Night Football in Detroit. Looking forward to it. Detroit is very beatable. They got rolled today by the Bears. They have not looked good as of late, and this is a very winnable game for us.
Absolutely. Trevor's celebrating. It might be something on the TV. It might be something that, just Jody just got done saying. Either way, man, he's celebrating that the Broncos are doing fantastic. Bring it, Trevor, and if you have a little bit of news, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'm just celebrating because Detroit, I mean, we've been saying it, though, that it's a winnable game. 5-0. 5-0 is realistic. I'm saying it. Like, no 4-1, no loss. Don't have that mindset. We need to be 5-0. 5-0, take care of your own business. I mean, it's right there. I mean, it's simple. I mean, we just beat teams like Kansas City and Buffalo who are arguably just as tough as Detroit. And Detroit just lost to one of the worst teams today in football, the in Chicago. So it's there. I mean, that's a team that's struggling right now. Let's take advantage of that. It don't matter if this is a short week. I mean, yeah, for travel purposes, but we can't use that as an excuse. We want to change the mindset and change the culture. There's no excuse type of culture. That's what it's got to be. And also, you got a chance. You probably just put a stamp on the Chargers head coach Brandon Staley. He very well might be losing his job. I don't know if it's tomorrow or in the season. I mean, that you just put a stamp on that, and Justin Herbert might be out for the year now because he got that. Was it announced? They just announced that he has a fractured right index finger, so he might be out for the season. So you might just put a damper on the Chargers season right there.
And I got to give a shout out. Graham actually brought that up in our comments a little bit earlier, and I didn't post it up there. But yeah, Graham is saying, somewhere in there. I have it in there. He again, that shout out to Graham for breaking that to us. I didn't want to leave him out, and I didn't want to leave out Kenny, man. Kenny, we get wrapped up and we know like contracts of Denver Broncos. I know that you're dialed in for your Giants on a deep level, but sometimes when you're so ingrained in your team, it's tough to have a true outside perspective and a fresh perspective. Why, from an outside perspective, a fan of football in general, why should the Broncos fans be excited about their Denver Bronco team right now?
Simple. It's just like I want to thank one player on the Chiefs that made Giants fans happy. It should make Bronco fans happy, and that's Kadarius Toney, who lined up offsides. I don't know if you watched the end of the game. Lined up offsides, and then penalty. What happened? Chiefs lost. I'm a believer in momentum. Broncos are headed in the right direction. The Chiefs are hanging in the wrong direction. Said it when it was in the win streak. Every game's playoff atmosphere for the Broncos. Okay, and you're seeing it. And you know what? The season started today, or 6 weeks ago. You guys would be 6-1. 7 weeks ago, I should say. You would be having a 2-game lead on the Chiefs. You're trending in the right direction. I don't care what the schedule looks like for the Chiefs. The Patriots could beat the Chiefs the way the Chiefs are playing now.
Wow,
that's how I feel, and something's not right with the Chiefs, and it starts with the head cases they got in Kadarius Toney with him. So be happy, Bronco fans. You're in a division race now, not just a playoff race. And a lot of Bronco fans had the Broncos at 7-10. You're there now. 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins, wherever you had the Broncos, maybe 11 wins, it's in reach. So playoffs are here every week. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to be very happy. Defense wins championships. That's my last statement. And I'm not saying the Broncos are going to win a championship, but they're winning every playoff game going forward. 5-0, like Trevor said, it's coming.
Wow. Love that. Trevor brought it. The stepfather is bringing it in secondarily, calling for 5-0. We got the first step in the right direction, start to stack those wins, man. I appreciate it a ton. I'm going to go back around the horn, but I'm going to start with Kenny. Kenny, I held you out late. You came in. You brought the knowledge. You brought it to the Denver Bronco Roundup, but typically you bring it to the K&K Sports Show and all the fantastic stuff that you guys have going on out of here. I'm going to start you off with our final farewells. We're about ready to get out of here. And by all means, jump in here. Tell us a little bit about K&K Sports Show because you guys do a fantastic job. We love hearing you guys being part of that. And if nothing else, sometimes just being in the comments.
Oh, I appreciate it, Keith. But let me do this in 30 seconds or less because this is about Denver Broncos tonight. But we're the K&K Sports Show. Myself, Kurt Valenti, started us up. Wednesday nights, you could check us out. We're on the East Coast, so 8 o'clock Eastern time Wednesday. All sports, football, baseball, basketball, hockey. We'll talk soccer. We'll do darts. If Dutchie wants to talk darts, we'll do darts, Dutchie. No, joke aside, we do that Wednesday nights. Thursday we do Wits and Wagers. It's self-explanatory. We give you some betting tips. We pick some games. We got some nice, as Keith says, some nice characters on that show, nice personalities, some fun show. And then Kurt, also on Wednesdays, let me backtrack. Kurt Valenti, my co-host, does a Broncos show with the East Coast flair. Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern time, so that would be 8 p.m. Mountain time. And then we do a Giants show. You guys come on and hang out with us on the Giants Talk. And if you guys want, if the Broncos aren't playing and we're doing a Giants show, come check us out. That's the K&K Sports Show. Thank you, Keith. We bring it to you as best we can and keep it real. And every show's interactive.
Yes, very interactive, man. I love it. They're always hitting the comment board, being really interactive with every single one of their friends in their chat board. And, get to a lot of questions and have a fantastic answers. We appreciate you guys. Ernie Mays, I do got to give a shout-out here because I do remember him saying this too. Ernie Mays saying, I said 5-0 too. So we got Kenny, we had Trevor, we have Ernie Mays, all on that 5-0 train. We're going to go over to Trevor as we say our goodbyes. Trevor, say goodbye to Broncos country. And, man, what a win, man.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight and support us once again. I mean, you guys are fantastic. Broncos country is the best. And just want to thank all you guys as well. It's a great, fun to do a show, and it's even funner to do a show when we win. So it's, let's go Broncos country. No, but I think I can just enjoy this win. This is a Chargers team that was not very good. They're struggling as well. But again, you hit them when they're down. You hit them, you pounded them in the mouth. I mean, it's time. This is the way. 5-0. Come on, we got this next week. It's Detroit. You win that game, I mean, it's huge. And then you got the Chargers with Herbert out. I mean, that's another possible, very winnable game in that one as well down the road. So that's one to keep an eye on. But just a lot of great performances today on both sides of the ball. We got the win, and it was just really fun to see that, and just really fun to see this team come together. Sean Payton, a really good coach game, I think, especially on the offense side of the ball, to try out plays. We've seen plays we haven't seen before, so it's really great to see the playbook start to open up a little bit, and Russ has gotten outside the pocket, starting to see the field better throughout the game. And by the way, pretty sure I was just 3 points off of this win. So I'm pretty sure our pregame show, it was 24-10. So, I mean,
yeah, I think you're right. I think you may be right. We'll do the rewind. We'll get those predictions written down next time, so we're not guessing. But yeah, I think you're right.
We got to start keeping track of this, just because we're keeping a record,
But we just got to be throwing it against the wall. Yeah,
yeah, just all fun and dating. But it was great, and go Broncos.
Absolutely, man. Judge Jody Moncrief, man, you brought in here. You gave us some fantastic rulings on this game, on this team, where we should go, man. But let's go ahead and wrap it up. Get us out of here. What are your thoughts to Broncos country?
One game at a time. I didn't think playoffs were going to be a possibility after a 1-5 start, but here we are. Enjoy the ride, because this could go a long ways if you play like you did today.
100%, man. The way that we've been playing, the way that we've come together as a team, amazing where we were at, 1-5, turned around. We're talking about playoffs. We're talking about division championships. I know sometimes, I'm a guy that's half empty on this glass, but Albert Mile High Dutchy is always positive, always full to the brim, and we bring it to him last as we're doing our roundup here on our goodbyes and saying goodnight. So, Albert, what do you got for us?
My philosophy about glass half empty or half full, it just means you need a refill.
I do.
So I want to say the Broncos and the Chiefs are both trending in the right way for the Broncos. The Chiefs are losing and the Broncos are winning, so that's great. My thought on Kareem Jackson, because I think they
did I miss you, man?
Yep, they cannot move on from Kareem Jackson. Maybe as a player, but not as a coach, because he is a great influence as a coach. And I think he would do really well as a coach. And yes, I also want to thank all the people who were commenting in the chat. Kenny, Roger, Jeremy, Michael, Kurt, Ernie, David, John, Graham, Michelle, Patrick, and Martin. Yeah, thank you guys for being in the show. It makes our lives so much more interesting and much easier if we have comments from you guys. It helps us a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we're in here. We're doing it for you guys. We appreciate you an absolute ton. We appreciate guys like Graham as well coming in here and saying "Let's ride," maybe with some laughy emojis. But
not that
man.
Again.
not that again.
Not there yet.
Haven't gone past that emotional trauma. We might have to let that scar heal just a little bit more. before we go back to it. Jeremy's coming here in there and saying thanks, guys, and a big go Broncos. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you being part of the show. Martin, I'll answer your question partly. He says, if we're getting into our scores, I'll take the Broncos 27-13 in the upcoming game. So I'll take a clap for that. Absolutely, Jody, because it means, hey, we're continuing to stack. We're continuing to stack. And young Tyrone coming in here with Mr. Unlimited, man, if we're going to get the jokes rolling at the end of the show, guys. Martin, when it comes to our score prediction, well, we actually have 3 different shows here on the Denver Bronco Roundup, so I'm going to ask you to tune in to another show. We actually have one tonight, obviously post-game. We have our original Tuesday Denver Bronco Roundup, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You get the cast of characters you see here on the screen, maybe minus Kenny Kirkpatrick because he's our special guest tonight, but the 4 guys you see on the screen will come back. We'll be talking a little bit more about this game. We'll be talking a little bit more, looking forward to that Detroit game. And then final opportunity to get in and get your score prediction in case there's some changes in some lineups or anything like that. We always have a Friday night show, kind of a pregame show Friday night, so watch for that as well. We are the Denver Bronco Roundup. We're brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network, guys. Check out Rocky Mountain Sports Network for all your Colorado sports, so whether it be your Broncos, whether it be your Avalanche, whether it be your Nuggets, or whether it be your Rockies, Rocky Mountain Sports Network is the place to go. Check out RockyMountainSN.com. Check out Rocky Mountain Sports Network on Facebook, on YouTube, or over on your favorite X feed. That being said, we're also brought to you by the fantastic, or sponsored by, I should say, the fantastic WillowSeasonings.com. Willow Seasonings and Blends, I should say. They're over at WillowSeasonings.com, guys. This is a Colorado-based sauces and seasonings company. They're award-winning. They're a Denver Bronco loving. They're a veteran-owned company, guys. And I'm telling you what, the only sauce and spice company that enters my front door. Fantastic flavors. You won't be disappointed. They got specials going on for Christmas right now, package deals. And I'm telling you, if you guys have a pit boss in your Christmas list, they won't be disappointed. Go ahead and get them all lined up. Head to WillowSeasonings.com and do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and do one other person a favor. Type in promo code DBR2023. It's going to save you 15% right off the top. Of course, that's going to get you a gift underneath the tree, so that's going to make one other person happy. And the last person that makes happy, David Slade, fantastic owner of WillowSeasonings.com, donates $1 to a Rocky Mountain Sports Network family in need every time you use that code. So please do me a favor. Make sure you type that in. It would be helping out a ton of people, guys. Again, appreciate you guys all so much. You guys blew up our comment board. Love doing these post-game shows, as Trevor said, especially after a win, guys. Go ahead, get your swag on. Get it all ready for Monday morning, guys. Walk in there. Again, chest bumps out, feeling proud because you're a part of Broncos country. Graham's coming in, loving that SPG seasoning. I got to give that a shout out as we're getting out of here as well, guys. We'll see you guys real soon. Like I said, next show will be Tuesday at 7 p.m. So, guys, until then, keep your feet in your stirrups, keep your guns in your holsters, and keep the Broncos in your heart, guys. Until next time, we're out of here. Mile high salute. Good night, guys.